Hello, everyone, and welcome. Deep bow to everybody who is joining in live. We are having a stream here on, here in the present moment is really where this stream is taking place, and that's the emphasis that we will be working with during this whole event is, kind of that there is a present moment, that we can be in relationship to it, we can be interested and curious about it, and we can enjoy it together. So I'm putting in the comments of the Reddit talk the link to the live stream on YouTube. And we're also live on TikTok. And I'm going to be answering questions that have been, surprisingly enough, sent to me through a thread on 4chan. Probably the last place that you'd expect to find a monk, but we're not shy here at this present moment place. There's a lot of good deeds that can be done, and it doesn't really matter what place it is or where it is or what we think about it. It's still worthwhile to do that, to do good deeds. So, what we're going to be doing today is a little bit of a live Q&A, and there'll be some meditation in there as well. I'd like to update everyone kind of what's going on with me and where I've been the past few months. If you don't already know, I am Bhante Varrapanyo. I'm a 30-year-old American Buddhist monk, currently in California. And for the past 5 months, I have been staying at the Deer Park Monastery in Southern California. So this is like the Thich Nhat Hanh's main center in America, in California. So I've been staying there for the past 5 months, and that's been a deeply enriching and empowering experience, I can say, for sure. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot during that time, and I've made a lot of wonderful friends on the path during that time, kind of brothers and sisters, and non-dual entities, while staying at Deer Park Monastery, and have been supported a lot by that in my heart, in my mind, in my practice. So about a week ago, I received a message from my teacher, who is quite a well-known monk in Myanmar, to come to the temple here in Los Angeles and help to take care, to teach, and also to support the alms round activity, which is we do our kind of daily begging together. The monks and nuns that live here at this temple, we beg, we go to get our food by walking around, and certain communities, certain families invite us, and then we show up and they offer food to us, they offer support to us. So I was requested to come and stay here and to teach and to participate in that alms round. And I'll be here indefinitely, here in Los Angeles. And anyone who's in the area, anyone who'd like to visit, please feel that there is an open invitation and that I am here to support you in whatever way I can. So we are not having, this isn't going to be particularly structured. There's going to be a lot of movement and energy coming from different directions. So strap in and find your breathing and sit and be comfortable. And I'm going to start off by answering some of these questions that have come in online. So please bear with me, enjoy the view, enjoy your breathing, enjoy being here. And if you have a question, you can leave a comment down below, or you can kind of raise your hand and become a guest here in the present moment. And I'll be using voice dictation to answer some questions through 4chan. I don't feel that I'm missing out on much living as a monk, because it's a very fulfilling way to live, And I find that each day is new and fresh and holds within it the possibility of a lot of goodness and freshness and transformation. So I don't regret being a monk, and I'm not looking in another direction, something better than being a monk. I'm very happy to do what I'm doing. Spiritual benefits of being a monk are being supported to detach and being supported to renounce. So as a monk, I'm not involved in any type of business in terms of developing material resources. And because of that, I can give all of my energy to focusing on the development of spiritual resources. That means the development of wholesomeness, the development of a peaceful and powerful mind, and also the development of insight into the nature of the mind, and not just the content of the mind or social relationships, etc., but actually to develop a relationship with detachment moment by moment. And this is a joy to live in that way. Whatever complicated belief that you are attached to or that you hold on to is going to be inherently wrong according to Buddhism. What we can attach to from a Buddhist perspective is generosity, is wholesomeness, is peace, is joy, is this sense of freedom and love and transformation. But when you grasp onto a complicated idea of something being right or wrong, intellectually or dogmatically, you can be sure that what you are involved with has nothing to do with the teachings of the Buddha. It's just a dead-end road. And you should do your best to abandon it and to let go of it. If you are struggling a lot with vanity, then you should practice to face and be with difficult situations and difficult people. You should have an experience with that. Because what we are around and what we consume and what we experience is really not separate from us. And when we can see the dirty, the gritty, the suffering that is there, the not beautiful that is there, we can understand. Oh, reached the comment too long. So for anyone who doesn't know what's going on, I'm answering questions that people have asked me on a 4chan thread that I started. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It's just people asking questions, and I'm giving answers. And for those people joining on Reddit, you can also tune into the live stream through YouTube. If you go to the comment section, you'll see the link. And if you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment, you can leave your question, and I'll get to it as I'm able. Yeah, you can ask questions in chat, but as you're already kind of tuned in to the YouTube, and that means that you're probably tuned in to the Discord as well, that you're able to be in contact with me regularly. So please take some time to relax and to be here, And if you do post a question, be patient and I'll answer it as I'm able. But I want to prioritize these people that I'm not so able to speak with them or connect with them most of the time. I'm definitely way happier and healthier than I was before I became a monk. I try to understand myself and see myself in terms of the present moment experiencing. This moment as it is in the here and now. From that perspective and that view, there's nothing that I'm missing from my past life. If you have mental health issues, you should try to get as much support as you can. You should move in the direction of getting support more and more. Therapy, counseling, possibly medication, but especially community and wisdom and compassion. And I found a lot of benefit in Buddhist teachers, so you could also look in that direction. We all have issues focusing for long periods of time, just like we all have issues walking for a long period of time or running for a long period of time. It's not easy. And somehow inside of that not easiness, there is a wisdom and a freedom that arises, that willingness to be with and face that not easiness. From great difficulty, great truth arises. But if you're not attending to it, if you're not willing to be there with it, you also won't get the experience of the truth that goes along with that difficulty. We all have different opinions and views. If they are negative or aggressive, it's probably best to not take them too seriously, regardless of how real or true they are. Not knowing is most intimate, and an act of generosity is done only in the here and now. So be intimate with not knowing. Be intimate and look closely at that state of open awareness, and let go of even that. As for generosity or giving up, you just to become aware and to let go, as if you are pouring out a bottle of water. It just flows, it just releases naturally, without any contrivance or complicated thinking necessary. If you're quite interested in starting on the journey of Buddhism and meditation, that's wonderful. I recommend you feed that interest, that curiosity, that sincerity that you actually want to know about it. Once that's fed, then I can give you some support, I can point you Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. So we're going to enter into a period of intermission, and I'd like to invite the people who are watching on YouTube, following along live. I'd like to invite you to share about how you're watching or how you're making use of this happening, right? There's a live stream, we can say, this connection point. How are you making use of this happening, and how are you practicing with it? How do you view it? How do you work with it? And if you're watching on YouTube, please leave quite a sincere and in-depth, not too much, of course, but comment about how you use this as a supporting conditions for practice, because I'm very curious to hear that. And then in the meantime, this intermission period, I'm going to share some lovely stuff on the live stream here on YouTube. Just give me a moment. It's a very short intermission. Okay. No. Okay, here we go.
मैंने एक स्पेशल गाना तैयार किया है।
So for anyone who feels that that's what they need to practice with right now, if you search for Sadhguru on YouTube, you will see this live kind of event, this Mahashrivatri 2023. So feel free to hop over there if you want to enjoy that. And certainly feel welcome to come here and join me here in Los Angeles, California, right? The capital of the world. And come to practice some meditation and to enjoy the present moment. The cold, hard facts are that we need to, we want to build a house, right? We want to have a spiritual life and a good life, happiness and peace and well-being. My teacher, Sayadaw, he liked to say healthy and wealthy, right? We all want to be healthy and wealthy. Well, there are many ways to build a house, many kinds of houses, but without a foundation, it's temporary. It's not going to be that long-lasting. You certainly can't build it that high, that big. And the foundation of our spiritual practice is a prioritization of goodness. How can I be a good person? How can I follow precepts, right? How can I remember, not killing, not stealing, not lying, speaking harshly, not to do that. Be very careful with your sexual energy and how to, not stop taking drugs, stop taking intoxicants. So we build that foundation, and then the situation is a lot more workable. And it's not necessarily Buddhism or Hinduism or Christianity, but it's a foundation of goodness on which we can build our happiness, our peace, our freedom. And that foundation is really based, from my experience, on goodness. If you do good, you feel good. So that question of, well, how can I be good, and what does that mean, right? What's important about that, about being good? Ask that question, but don't ask it to, some guy who's live streaming on YouTube. You can, but you don't need to. The asking itself is your prioritization of your interest in being good and your sincerity and your willingness to be good. You wouldn't ask a question about it if you weren't actually interested in a meaningful way, right? So that asking is to feed that intentionality. How do I get started in Buddhism? What's the deal? What's Buddhism? What is a monk? Well, what is Buddhism? What is important? You can ask this kind of question and open yourself up to your sincerity and your intentionality. And then you can live in that certain kind of way. You can live in skillfulness. The Sadhguru event is going, yeah. Okay. So we do have more questions. We have a lot of questions. A lot of people are showing up and sharing their questions and their ideas and their positions. So instead of being stuck on that, we can practice our mindfulness. We can practice to release whatever that is. We have somebody calling in. Sonoran, you have a question? And, okay, here we go. I'll take a look at these questions that have come in through YouTube as well. Jewels of Encouragement says, a hard time of discipline. What advice could you give to overcome it? Keep at it, keep restarting, keep refreshing, and find a community that's going in your direction. That's going to help you a lot. Good evening, Bhante. Are you a monk of Theravada? I am a monk of Buddhaya, Dhammaya, Sanghaya, a non-sectarian Buddhist monk. Hello in Cambodia. What says, is it okay to leave everything else behind for purpose and in the discovery of the greater thing? Practice to do good deeds more and more. Practice generosity. To abandon everything, to let go of everything, is to lighten our load fully and completely. No longer burdened, no longer stuck, no longer trapped, but free. So is it worth it to be free? Yeah, anything and everything is worthwhile to let go of for the sake of freedom. Okay? Please try to eat more vegetarian. All right? Prioritize it. Recognize it as skillful and something meaningful that you can do. So when you go shopping, instead of just being, I'm hungry, I want to eat a lot, and it's this animalistic walking through the grocery store. Now grocery shopping is an ethical concern, ethical activity. So consume less animal products. Good idea. Drew says, Bhante, I am in agony with a brain tumor. How can I be present or even meditate? Yeah. So I send a lot of care and love to you, Drew, and I hope you will give yourself permission to go through this. And, even Ajahn Brahm, I've been listening to recently, was saying about giving yourself permission to die. Maybe that can also extend to giving yourself permission to be in a great pain. To be with that, to feel that, and not be afraid of something that you're not alone in experiencing, because we all are going through this certain kind of pain and suffering and difficulty. Yeah, just know that you're not alone and that you are cared about and that you have a capacity not only to get through this and to transform this suffering to peace and to happiness, but you have a capacity to die also, and that's okay. Drew, it's okay to have this great sickness, this great difficulty, because we all have a great sickness and a great difficulty. We just don't know it. So recognize that, be with that, remember your power, right? Remember that you do have this capacity to face that suffering. You are a practitioner. You're maintaining some precepts. You're practicing diligently, sincerely, and make use of this difficult situation to be a source of wisdom and transformation and growth. That is a worthwhile practice and activity to do. Okay, my heart goes out to you, Drew. So, Drew, in lighting this incense, I hope that the fragrance of your goodness and your meditation mind, your peace mind, and also the fragrance of your wisdom, right? Your insight, your deeper understanding, your access to a deeper understanding will flourish more and more in your life and in your reality. So you wouldn't be left alone. You wouldn't be stuck in this identity of having a brain tumor, but actually you will really feel the freedom inside of yourself as well, even in the midst of that. Hi, Al.
Are you online or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Is there a activity to happen today?
4:30.
At 4:30 it
4:30,
starts.
like monk from like he will come. He will teach in Burmese.
Yeah, he give a talk, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Bhante.
Okay, hello. All right, four. All right, so we have maybe about 30 more minutes, then we wrap up. Okay, a few more questions here through YouTube. Philip says, when it comes to detaching in Buddhism, does it mean one should try to refrain from consuming forms of entertainment? No, it doesn't mean that, because it's not talking about a particular person at a particular place at a particular time or a particular activity, but it's actually in this moment, in what you are aware of and what you are able to recognize, to abandon and to put down, to detach, to unravel that state of mind of fixation, of attachment. So it's talking about something that's coming from and related to the present moment in a way of not someone, no self, nothing that's permanent, no real true story. So it's this ever-present concept of how we practice to release what we are holding on to, here and now, not a particular activity in a particular time, a particular person in the past or the future or whatever, but to abandon now, to offer out now, to release now, and to release even that, especially to release that. Otherwise, you're just running around in circles, kind of chasing your own tail. Will says, do you have any political opinions? Sure, I have political opinions. Be good, do good. Let's have a community of supporting one another, redistributing excess wealth for the benefit of those who have a particular need at a particular time, and really being with it, right? Really being active about taking care of one another according to ability and need, right? As much as we're able to. Okay, Renaissance Man says, what's your advice for an overthinking mind? What are tools that we can use to take action on something they are ruminating incessantly about? There are so many tools, there are so many treasures, so many access points for the Dharma, for the means of releasing suffering and ending suffering. There's too many to count. If you have the intention and the capacity to give up and to give away and to put down and to detach and to do only and to experience only and to offer out, then you have the opportunity to transform. But you mainly need to feed this interest in the capacity to let go, the capacity to give away what you are holding on to, what you're stuck on. And that's something we can only really work with in the present moment, in the here and now. So keep it simple. Is there a way, is there some place you can volunteer? You can listen to a Dharma talk, you can take a bath, you can go for a walk. But it's not about any particular thing. It's this willingness to recognize and untangle, to recognize and step back, to stop. And that stopping is quite accessible. It's just that we don't see it as relevant for us or meaningful for us most of the time. We say, no, I'm a businessman, or I'm a monk, or I'm this, or I'm that, so stopping is secondary. But we can find those moments, like this moment, when stepping back to recognize rather than react what's happening right now is accessible, and then we build a relationship with that. And that's a kind of direct experiencing. It's not conceptual, it's not story-based. It's a lived experience. You don't define good, you do good. You have the intention to bring benefit, you have the intention to help, you have the intention to offer out, and you act on it, and then you find out what's good and what's not good, what's skillful, what's not skillful. You don't need to define it. The mind that wants to define good is the mind that wants to sell merchandise, okay, and make a profit. If you're, generosity is not about making a profit. It's about giving up, giving away, letting go. So you can see the source of goodness is generosity. And you learn through practice. You learn what works and what doesn't. Right now we're working into a period because, as I said at the beginning of this stream, I've been kind of called out by my teacher to come and teach and to take care of support for alms round, which is our begging rounds. And at this temple, I will have the space to make more of a schedule. But this is not a business. I'm not a business person, so ultimately, I can't create a schedule because I'm practicing to detach, to abandon. I'm practicing to be mindful, and all kinds of things happen. Right? So a schedule is just like to be deceived, and somehow we have a kind of community where people are ready to practice at a little bit of notice, and that's really ideal. And if you're really serious about it, you can watch the recordings, which are always made available. If you're really serious about it, come track me down, come be a problem for me, right? Following me around and saying, "Hey, I want to be a monk. I'm coming here to meditate. What are we going to do?" This is it. So if you're serious about it, you'll find a way. Not twice a day, not 5 times a day, not according to a schedule, but here in the present moment, you'll find a way, and you'll keep taking those steps more and more. You won't be stuck by a schedule or not a schedule or anything. You'll keep doing it. You'll keep showing up. Painful experiences in our lives, we need to recognize that they are fundamentally empty of you. It's just causes and conditions coming together. Okay? In the same way, they are empty of permanence. These causes, this sickness, this illness, this suffering is not permanent, is not fixed. Okay? So from that difficulty, the Dharma arises, the truth arises, wisdom arises, compassion arises. People who don't go through a lot of difficulty, well, they may be lacking in depth. Okay, so just because you have a lot of money and a lot of pleasure and a bathtub that's fantastic, it doesn't mean that you're going to have a wisdom and compassion in your life. So be okay with feeling difficulty. Accept it. That's life. That's a human experience, is a suffering and a difficulty. So don't try to break that out or get rid of that, because that's a real gateway to deepening and to freeing and to offering out is difficulty. So it's okay to experience difficulty. You can connect with your breathing. You can connect with your goodness, your sincerity, right? Difficulty is a time that shows us our sincerity, and that's an active process. We can be involved with setting how we are sincere and how we take care of and how we show up in those particular experiences of adversity, right? You are planting the seeds for the fruit that you will eat. And there's no more fertile soil to plant seeds in than difficulty. You don't want to force difficulty. You don't want to cause more difficulty. You don't need to, because there's plenty of difficulty already. But you can make use of it to free yourself. How would you teach Buddhist principles to someone or something without language? Be kind, be patient, be generous, be loving, be flexible, be compassionate, be contemplative. Simcha, you just find the balance. Here in the present moment. There's no better balancing act than dropping the ball, putting it down. Then balance comes very easily. All right. Yeah, go slow, be patient. Remember that intention to find the balance. And take time to, invite that questioning into your space of peace and your space of wellness, right? You bring that question into the bathtub, right? That's when you ask it, where do I draw the line here? Certainly, money is not exchanging your peace or your happiness or your freedom or your meaningfulness in life for money is not worthwhile. Enough is enough. We need to remember that, because that really, now we can really be established in the present moment, can't we? Enough is enough. Enough is plenty. Except when it comes to the mind of happiness and joy and freedom and peace and love. That mind, never enough. We feed it more and more. Derealization is a psychological, Western psychological concept. You should detach from derealization, and you should prioritize living a meaningful life, being in community, having a meaningful support, right? Being a good person, doing good deeds, regulating your activity so that you're doing more skillful activity, less unskillful activity. Derealization, if you're living in an isolated, contrived, calculated way where you are separated from community and you're separated from an opportunity to live meaningfully in community and do good deeds and to be loved and have an intimate experience with worthwhile people, everything's going to be a derealization. Everything's going to be, you're going insane. But that's not related to derealization. It's related to the conditions that you find yourself in. So practice to move towards more meaningful community activities. Search on Google Maps. If you're dealing with it is tough. I understand that there is a lot of difficulty there, but you need to be careful not to attach onto a psychological perspective and then carry that around with you all the time, because now your anxiety or your awareness of suffering is confused to think that it's this complicated idea, this complicated psychological situation. When it's suffering, it's difficulty comes up, right? Anxiety comes up and it goes away. So we have a capacity to be with that feeling of anxiety, be with that feeling of difficulty, and let go of it. Or be with it in a way where we don't get attached or confused by it. We bring it for a walk. We sing a song to it. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to finish up with a song. So we have some Myanmar monk that's going to come here and give a talk here in this room. So we'll just finish up with a song, and then we'll all say goodbye to each other. Please feel free to, if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a like. It helps more people come across this event, this activity. Maybe some people will get some benefit from this. And yeah, don't be shy to be generous. All right, let's sing a little bit of a song together. Breathing in, I go back to the island within myself. There are beautiful trees within the island. There are blue skies and water, there are birds, sunshine and fresh air. Breathing out, I feel safe. I enjoy going back to my island. One more time, welcome to sing with me. Breathing in, I go back to the island within myself. There are beautiful trees within the island. There are blue skies and water, there are birds, sunshine and fresh air. Breathing out, I feel safe. I enjoy going back to my island. So, deep bow to everyone. Thank you all so much for being here and joining me. Somehow I know that I am inspiring other people in a certain sense by this kind of activity, and I just want to relay that I'm also inspired by you. And I don't take this situation lightly, and I hope that we can support one another to continue on the path and to untangle and offer out more and more this happiness and this peace, this freedom. And don't forget to join the Discord server if you want to be a part of our community, okay? A link is in the description of the YouTube video, okay? Bye, everyone.